What's up? What's happening? Welcome into Foxborough Rush.
Yes.
George Valecchi here with Travis Thomas, as you guys always, bringing you the best for the Patriots, even at the low point of the offseason.
Yeah.
Here's a highlight the Patriots have waking up to on Monday.
What?
This right here. Check out this tweet. We all know Rafael Devers is now with the San Francisco Giants. Drake May lover putting out a great tweet. All Boston has left is one guy. Drake May.
Yeah, they're right. Listen, Drake, no pressure, kid. It's all on you, man. Tatum hurt. Devers,
no pressure.
Gone.
The city's
Marshawn,
watching you.
Gone. Drake May, we need you, bro. It's all on you. He's basically Luke Skywalker. Like the whole empire is riding on Drake May. It is.
As if the pressure wasn't massive enough.
Yeah.
Can you get us back to being respectful and being in the playoffs, let alone winning 6 Super Bowls over the course of from 2001 to 2019? Can you help resuscitate an offense that was held hostage by a GM that was really just going after,
keep going,
24-year-old girlfriends, and that was distracting going back to 2021. Not getting wide receivers, drove Tom Brady out, wanted him to hit free agency and go win a Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
These are all facts, folks.
By the way, your rookie season, you were given a first-time head coach, first-time offensive play caller, first-time defensive coordinator, and Elliott Wolf not really knowing how to lead a front office.
Yeah, and your offensive line sucked, but no pressure, kid.
And by the way,
here's a good thing, though. There's nowhere to go but up, George.
And by the way, Brad Marchand scoring 5 goals in one Stanley Cup final. First player to ever do that for 2 separate teams, but doing it for the rival Panthers. Jason Tatum nursing a torn Achilles. Jaylen Brown nursing a partially torn meniscus, which he got surgery for. Rafael Devers now in San Francisco, so this is on Marcelo Meyer. Hey, at least Drake May at 23-22 can lean on Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell, and Roman Anthony. How do you guys deal with the pressure? How are you the face of a franchise?
What a dinner that would be. All them young bucks with the fate of Boston sports in their hands, just hanging out.
You know me, I would hope they would meet at like Warren Tavern, where Paul Revere was planning how he would ride and say the British are coming.
Historic.
The 3 of them sitting in one of those wooden booths in the corner.
Somebody watching is talented with Photoshop, right? Can we make that some sort of Photoshop like that?
Give me Boston's Big 3, the Red Sox Big 3, and Drake May. Photoshop sitting in a booth, dressed like Revolutionary War soldiers in Warren Tavern having main lunches.
Do we throw pasta in there too, or is he too old? Because it's all young guys.
No, let's go young guys.
It's all young guys.
The 4.
All right.
Throwing a Matty Patra in there too.
Or whoever they take in the draft.
7th overall.
Whoever the Bruins take in the draft, throw him in the picture too.
As you can tell, we're still reeling over that news. Rafael Devers now with the Giants. But, like I said, Foxborough Rush Patriots podcast.
Thank God.
As the Red Sox are hitting a long-term move to continue to revamp their team. The Patriots, they're in the thick of it, of draft behind them, free agencies here, low point in training camp. They're still in a long-term point as well for their offseason. And let's start the discussion with this. PFF put out a ranking. Every team's top quarterback and pass catchers.
Looking at it now.
Ends.
Yep.
If you had to guess where the Patriots and Stefon Diggs rank, where would you guess, Trev? Because Stefon Diggs is the best pass catcher.
They should not be dead last, but they should be close to the bottom of the barrel.
26th.
Yeah.
I would put them a little higher. They're not breaking the top 20, though. And Drake May's doing the heavy lifting, in my opinion, if you're going with the ranking of duos.
I would put them literally 1 spot higher because right in front of them is a kid who's never played before. The Carolina Panthers have Bryce Young and Tet McMillan. Tet McMillan has not played an NFL snap.
And Bryce Young, is that salvageable? We'll see.
Well, he came on at the end of last season, so I can kind of get why he would get some respect. But Tet McMillan literally has not played an NFL down. What are we doing? But I don't. Look, man, I know we're supposed to talk about this. I don't really have an issue with where they are. You move them up 1 spot, okay, great. You go from 26 to 25. Congratulations. What do you want? A flower, a cookie? You're not getting either.
Yeah.
Behind them, Russell Wilson, Malik Neighbors. If I'm the Giants, I'm feeling a type of way that you have Drake May and Stefon Diggs ahead of me. Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley, 28th. Cam Ward hasn't played it down, no problem there. Anthony Richardson, Josh Downs, 29. And then the literal bottom of the barrel, Flacco and Jerry Jeudy. I just threw up in my mouth.
Tyler Shuck and Chris Olave.
Shuck and Olave.
And then Mason Rudolph and DK Metcalf.
Mason Rudolph and
Which
DK.
should not be Aaron Rodgers.
Is this old? Like, it should be Aaron Rodgers.
Right, and
they're not going to be last.
But still, and to me, the top of the food chain, it's Burrow, Chase, the best one. I mean, we saw what they did last year, MVP and Triple Crown guy.
They're one.
C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins, when Nico Collins is right, his hamstring isn't bothering him. No, they are.
Okay.
We're talking strict one, not passing game total.
Yeah.
We're talking quarterback, pass catcher. I would put them 2.
Hurts and Brown are 2.
I would put C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins connection over Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown.
Really?
A.J. Brown's better than Nico Collins. C.J. Stroud as a pure passer better than a Jalen Hurts.
Ooh.
Yes. And then I would go Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin.
They're 4th.
I would put Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans 4th. I would go Jalen Hurts and AJB at top 5. The one I have jumping a lot of spots, Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr.
Really?
I'd put them 6th. I would even put him as a top 5 connection.
I'm shocked to hear that. I would
BTJ's that downfield receiver he's always needed. And that he is going into sophomore year, he's going to make a big jump.
This adds to my You Hate Jared Goff campaign because I would think Goff and St. Brown should be high.
I have him 7th.
Yeah, they're
Goff
6 on the list. You're moving them down?
One spot.
You
and
hate
I put
Jared Goff,
I do not hate
yes,
Jared
you do.
Goff.
I would also move
love
Dak.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
I would move Dak and CD up too, even though I
have him
hate
8th.
both.
I would put him 8th.
You have him at 8th?
Yes, Dak and CD.
Why do we disagree on all lists? We're not good with lists.
It's Dak
we agree
for me on this
else.
one. I mean, I was big. I put them number 1 last year. And we saw Dak just can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
Tua and Tyreek Hill, I put him 19th. Tua's not going to be healthy. Tyreek Hill is washed.
Bro, you're talking about Dak not staying healthy. Nico Collins can't stay healthy. You have them as the greatest of all time.
He was dealing with a hamstring last season. I'm not saying all-time quarterback connections. I'm saying for this upcoming season.
I guess. Stafford and Puka feel low. They're 9th on this list. I would definitely move them up, right? Puka and Stafford? What am I missing?
I put him 12th.
Oh, my.
Mahomes and I put Mahomes and whoever, by the way.
Where are they?
I cheated a little bit on this.
Okay, so they have Mahomes and Rice at 13.
This is a list that's interesting. Drake May does a heavy lifting in this one.
Yeah.
But still, small sample size, a lot of turnovers.
Yeah.
And given the card he was dealt, where Alex Van Pelt was a play caller, that system was not good by any means, but worked for Drake May.
Sure.
His best pass catcher was Hunter Henry, who's a good tight end, serviceable. When he was bracketed, he was taken completely out of game plans. He could not beat a double team. So for him to be 26th with Stefon Diggs coming off a torn ACL, 31 years old.
Yeah.
And hey, you and I all the time, I am critical of Stefon Diggs.
Yeah.
I was on his side. He posted the pink brownies, and I'm off his side. I don't know if he makes it the full season.
Me either.
But Drake May is the only reason I give any of this offense success. He needs the offensive line to be good.
Yeah.
But he does heavy lifting in a duo of him and Stefon Diggs, Trav.
What does that look like, though? What does a successful Stefon Diggs, Drake May connection, are we talking 1,000 yards for
80
Steph?
catches, 850 to 1,000 yards, 5 touchdowns.
So kind of what he did with the Texans.
Yeah, that's what he was
pretty
on
much what he did before he got
That's what he
hurt.
was on pace for, right?
Before he got
And then he
hurt.
went down with that torn knee. But he was good. But again, at his age, and he was the number 3 receiver in that offense. It was Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and then it was Stefon Diggs. He is the best pass catcher in this offense right now. If Kyle Williams has a good rookie season, if Kendrick Bourne bounces back, if Pop Douglas is good, if Hunter Henry and Austin Hooper can produce, and if the run game is good, it'll open up a lot for Stefon Diggs. I don't think he has nearly the same production. Year older, coming off a torn ACL, but say even if he was fully healthy, I don't think he has the same production that he was on pace for last season.
Okay, you said 80 catches, is that right?
I would give me 80 catches.
I'm just looking around the league as we talk, George. This is going to upset all of us, so be prepared, okay? Warning. Jacoby Myers is who you're talking about. Jacoby Myers for the putrid G-Damn Raiders.
Who had to throw the ball a lot because they were always losing.
Had to throw the ball a lot because they lose every week with a nothing burger at quarterback. Jacoby Myers, our old friend who should have never left. Don't get me started, okay? 87 catches, 1,027 yards, and 4 tutties. That's a pretty good damn season. And he has no support. So I bring that up because I actually think Stefon Diggs, the line of demarcation for me is 1,000 yards. To your point, he had 800-something, and he was a third wide receiver with the Texans with a really good quarterback, maybe on the precipice of being great in C.J. Stroud. I don't think that's a hot take. And, he put up those numbers as a third guy. As a number 1 guy, I'm going to uptick you a little bit. Drake May is not quite far along as a CJ Stroud in like becoming great, but he's on the same path, and you're the number one guy. If Stefon Diggs can stay healthy, I don't think it's too much to ask. I'm with you for 80 catches. I don't think it's too much to ask for 1,000 yards from him. It might be a low end 1,000 yards like Jacoby Myers.
Sneaks in there at the end of the season.
Here's a couple more for you, buddy. Calvin Ridley, right over 1,000 yards, who you like. Nico Collins, who I understand got hurt, right over 1,000 yards. Mike Evans, barely over 1,000. So it's there. Jamison Williams. I think Stefon Diggs can get there, barring health. I think Drake Maye can get him there.
Also, him coming off a torn, he looks fantastic at camp.
Diggs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Him coming off a torn ACL, though, he may not really see the field and be back to football activity until October.
Sure.
Maybe missing 4 or 5 first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
With all those guys you named, though, outside of Mike Evans, younger, more fresh, bigger body receivers.
Not
too.
number one either. I mean, Calvin Ridley's a number one guy, but most of these guys are complimentary pieces.
To be a successful signing, he needs to limit the off-field stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be 1,000 receiving yards. It doesn't have to be 95 to 100 catches.
Okay.
It has to be a guy that's a chain mover, consistent for this offense, fits in the scheme. And again, it's a pass game overall that has to succeed. It doesn't have to hinder on Drake Maye and Stefon Diggs.
Sure.
Josh Allen has Khalil Shakir, and that's it for his pass catchers.
Right.
And he put together an MVP season. Patrick Mahomes struggled, but he had no one around him. Washed up Travis Kelce, Rashee Rice dealing with what he's dealing with. Hollywood Brown injured all season, didn't have that solid pass catcher. That offense was still able to put up points. Can this offense score points? And it's more on Drake Maye than it is on Stefon Diggs. That's why when I see this list, quarterback does a heavy lifting, should be higher than a 26. But you know where I stand on a Drake Maye. Overall, my opinion on him, my projection on him, and I don't put his success whether or not Stefon Diggs is good.
Okay, let's do it with Drake then. Drake Maye, 2,200, a little over 2,200 passing yards, 15 touchdowns, 10 picks, 59% completion percentage. I mean, look, we both are expecting more from him. Let's put some numbers on this, too. I'm going to give you a couple guys who barely had better seasons than him. We just talked about one. Bryce Young, right there, very similar numbers. A little more passing yards, 2,400. George, 15 touchdowns, 9 picks. So very similar. Russell Wilson, very similar. Tua. Okay, so Tua's a jump up here. He's
Tua
at 28, 19 touchdowns.
Sneaky good up there.
Yeah, so.
The one connection I think is underrated in all of this, Sam Darnold and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Sam Darnold's not going to do anything for you in the playoffs.
Right.
But how good he was last year, now in Clint Kubiak's offense, that is a quarterback wide receiver connection. I'm talking pure production. I'm not talking winning big games and showing up in the playoffs. Darnold and JSN, that's going to be something to watch. That's something that's going to impress me. And the wild card, J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson. Because I go back to what Sam Darnold did in that Vikings offense, being an MVP caliber type of quarterback, had ridiculous splits at certain points in the season. J.J. McCarthy has more mental toughness than Sam Darnold, is a winner, is accurate, is mobile, knows how to play in this system, and you give him the best wide receiver in football, J.J. McCarthy and Justin Jefferson, JJ and JJ.
Sure.
That tandem could really make a big jump.
I want to stay with Drake for a second. I had a hot take that if this guy can get in the top 15 quarterbacks in the league, back end, like let's say he's 15, that the Patriots would make the playoffs. I am looking at the 15th right now. It's C.J. Stroud. I do not think we're going to get this kind of leap, George. I don't. I'm sorry. C.J. Stroud, the 15th ranked, or at least statistically, quarterback in the league, okay? 3,700 yards, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. That's not to say that Drake can't do that, George. But I don't necessarily think he will from year one to year two. Here's one that I think he could do. Jalen Hurts, 2,900 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 picks. Now, we know Hurts runs for a ton.
Yeah.
He doesn't get a ton of attempts because they are a running team in nature with Saquon and himself.
Exactly.
I don't think the Patriots are going to have that prolific of a run game. But if they can have a good run game, George, whoever it is, Travion, Ramondre, whatever, if they can have let's call it effective. If they can have an effective run game, I think that's a realistic stat line for Drake Maye. Am I hating? Am I undercutting him? Just under 3,000 yards passing. let's remember, I mean, I know we're talking tandems here, but Stefon Diggs at this stage, coming off an injury, this age, everything we talked about with him, let's not act like this is some, he doesn't have A.J. Brown like Jalen Hurts, okay? But I do think it's realistic for Drake Maye to maybe get to 3,000 or be just under it.
I think 3,000 passing yards,
I think
that's
so
his threshold right there.
I do too.
He's going to be a 3,000-yard passer, a 100-yard rusher.
Oh, that's
He ran for almost 500 yards, small sample size, didn't play a full season, and in an offense that did not want to maximize his legs. Josh McDaniels can maximize his legs while keeping him out of harm's way. But look at what Jaden Daniels did.
That's significant, though, bro.
Like, that's the guy to compare him to, though.
Yeah.
Because Jaden Daniels is a different type of runner than a Lamar Jackson.
Sure.
Right? Not as shifty, but he's the fastest guy on the field. Drake Maye can be one of the best athletes on the field, and he can scoot going back to his college days.
Yeah.
And if you maximize his legs, opens up the playbook, and that would lead to a 3,000-yard passing season because it opens up everything for him.
That's a lot of running, though. I mean, look, Hurts, the guy I'm comparing in
Drake
terms
Maye
of stats.
almost ran for 500 yards last season.
Hurts had 630 last year, but his career high right now is almost 800. He's at 784.
I may be getting steep with that 800 number.
Maybe.
But I just think of what he got to.
Could be in between.
And it wasn't designed runs.
So but you said 5 last year, right?
Yeah.
Man.
He throws for 3,000 yards. Run game's good for the Patriots.
I think
opens up the box
The
for
truth
him.
is probably in between. So we're talking 8, 5. It's probably around close to 7. That's a really good. I think Hurts is the kind of season. Hurts last year, as I said, 630. I mean, he ran for 14 touchdowns. So let's take that off the board. Well, Drake Maye's not doing that, but there's no tush push here, right?
Yeah.
If Drake Maye can run for mid-6s, close to 7, to your point, and throw for 3 or close to 3, I mean, what are we talking about here? This could be a playoff team, George. It could be.
If the offensive line is healthy.
That's a dual-threat quarterback.
And the offense is successful, then it works.
Yes.
I'll temper expectations.
Okay.
630 rushing yards.
That's what I just said.
I'm looking at, right, because you go that route, Josh Allen, how good he is.
Yeah.
He's had his 700 rushing yard seasons. 530 to 600, that's when he's money.
But that's why I just said. If he's right over 600 rushing, stay with me. Right over 600 rushing, and either
playoffs.
at 3,000 or a skosh under like 2,900 passing yards.
Yeah.
Bro.
He's going to be a 3,000-yard passer. I don't second guess that he's going to.
I don't know.
He's going to be a 3,200-yard passer.
He was at 22 last season with nothing. He didn't start every game either.
Not just nothing. No offensive line, no pass catchers.
He didn't start every game, too.
No run game, no play call.
Right.
No defensive support.
Nothing.
He had nothing. He didn't play a full season, got knocked out of a game, was banged up, and that was the worst offense in the NFL. People go talk about other situations. The Browns had receivers. The Browns had a semblance of a running game.
Yeah.
The Patriots was the worst offensive ecosystem.
Yes.
Aside from the quarterback.
Yeah.
And a few guys here and there.
And then you do a disservice to your defense, too, when your offense is that bad. Maybe the defense was better than we thought, but we didn't have a damn chance because there was no offense at all.
That just shows where we get into this offseason, where everything is. It's all potential.
Yes.
And it's a quarterback play, how it leads into everything else. We'll get into that. We'll take a quick break on Foxborough Rush. We'll take a look at the defense, talk some rankings for them, talk some position battles as well. We'll get all that and more right back here on Foxborough Rush. To Foxborough Rush. All right, Trav, so we were talking quarterback pass catcher duo rankings.
Yes, Lord.
Now let's get into defensive rankings. Same thing, PFF going through ranking situations throughout the NFL. When it came to rosters, Patriots, again, 26th best roster. Makes sense to me. It's all potential. Exactly. You're like, can you hate it?
No.
This is exactly where they are.
Yeah.
And I get the excitement with Mike Vrabel. I get the excitement of revamping this defense. I understand the excitement around Drake Maye and Josh McDaniels uniting. Again, the reminder, it doesn't happen overnight. And a lot has to go right for this team to be successful. We'll run through X factors and all that. But as much as we talk about Drake Maye, Stefon Diggs, how good can they be? If this offensive line doesn't get good play from their tackle spots, if Will Campbell can't hold it down and be good at left tackle and might have to be kicked inside, there's so much that hinges on the success of a rookie in Will Campbell, an 11-year vet in Morgan Moses. But also, if this offense can run the ball, if the pass catchers can show up, if the secondary can be healthy, that's what's big too.
Bro, we both have covered bad offensive lines in our career. A lot of times, schematically, you can help an offensive line out. Now, I'm not taking away from anything you said because it's all facts, okay? But you're putting a lot of eggs in a rookie left tackle's basket that we're not even sure if he's supposed to be a left tackle or not, okay? Schematically, though, and you nailed it, you have to run the ball. I don't give a damn who you are as an offensive lineman. They all love to get physical and hit people in the mouth. Pass pro is always the really tricky one, right? It's timing offense. It's we're talking about Will Campbell. Can he hold up? And you're dealing with, in the AFC, brother, Myles Garrett, TJ Watts. It's absolute animals, okay? But if you can run the ball effectively, all offensive linemen love to do that, even the bad ones. And B, get rid of the damn ball. Drake Maye. Now I'm not putting it on him because last season we understand the play calling or lack thereof, right? And the lack of leadership at head coach. We talked about that in the first segment, and we all know that. But schematically, Josh McDaniels can help this guy out. Josh McDaniels knows if this offensive line is up to par or not by the time we get to the season, I'm saying, George. So look, hey, Drake, when you get up to the line, read this, read that, get rid of the ball. Who was the king of all kings at that? He was the GOAT at it. It was Tom.
Jared Goff.
But stop. Why are you doing that? You don't even like Jared Goff. But now I'm not saying Drake Maye needs to, read the play
his arm
beforehand.
Strength is his strength.
Like Tom Brady does.
Yes.
But a lot of times these young quarterbacks hold on to the ball too damn long. You can coach that out of them. And you can say, get up to the line, pre-snap read, get rid of it, okay? One read, not there, two read, get rid of it, or throw it away. I'll live with Drake Maye throwaways. I don't have a problem with that. I'd rather have him throwing that damn ball away than holding it, getting sacked, getting strip sacked, or getting hurt trying to be a hero, okay? If it's a design run, that's different. If you're scrambling, that's a difference too. I'm fine with that. But if you are holding the ball too long, waiting for one of these pedestrian wide receivers to get open, I ain't good with that. Throw the damn ball away. So I think there are things you can do to help your offense and help your young quarterback out if your offensive line is not up to par, which we don't know yet, George. We don't know.
What's perfect in this is they go biggest strength, biggest weakness, X factor, all that. Biggest weakness, supporting cast for Drake Maye.
Right.
Now, part of that supporting cast is Josh McDaniels, though.
Sure.
And it's hard to find a better offensive coordinator for a developing quarterback, in my opinion, than Josh McDaniels is for Drake Maye. But if this offensive line, and this leads to the X factor, in this article they list Stefon Diggs, it's not a single receiver. No. The X factor, and you could say this for any football team, but it is especially for this team, how bad it was last year, it's the offensive line. You need the run game to be there. You needed to open up the playbook. You need to help out Drake Maye with play action. You need to help out your running backs. And when it comes to pass pro, not just run blocking and lending to the play action, Will Campbell has to work out at left tackle because they don't have a backup at left tackle. And when I say a backup, I mean literally someone NFL level you would take. If it's another Vidarian Lowe experiment, we've seen how that goes. Will Campbell has to work there. We talked about on draft night. I loved the draft pick. Best offensive lineman for the worst offensive line in the NFL.
It was a safe.
But you have to address the left tackle position at some point. And Marcus Bryant, a 7th-round pick out of Missouri, ain't the answer. He was a 7th-round pick for a reason. It has to work out. So the biggest weakness is definitely the supporting cast. Because this offensive line is all question marks. Will Campbell's a rookie. We don't know who's at left guard. Grant Bradbury's okay at center and was let go by the Vikings. They said, yeah, go ahead.
We don't know what we have in Cole Strange.
Mike Onwenu needs to get back healthy for right guard. Morgan Moses, entering year 11 at right tackle, has to work out. And then you go pass catchers. Hunter Henry, Austin Hooper, they're okay. Stefon Diggs, question marks if he can make it. Pop Douglas is all right. He's a wide receiver 3. Kendrick Bourne is a wide receiver 2. Kyle Williams is a wide receiver 3 right now. A lot of unprovens outside of offensive coordinator. That's the only thing I know that will work at the NFL level. Is our play caller and Josh McDaniels? Everything else on the field outside of quarterback, just like last year, it's all potential. It's all potential.
I completely agree with you. That's why for X Factor, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, George, so forgive me. X Factor, I know. X Factor, they have Stefon Diggs. I actually disagree. I disagree. I think, because I agree with what you said, that sure, they think and they paid him as if Stefon Diggs is the X factor here and the wide receiver number one. But I agree with you that it could be a hodgepodge just like it has been. Stefon Diggs could, obviously he is a number one wide receiver in terms of talent, but production-wise, let's see what Drake Maye does. He might be one of those guys. Sometimes young quarterbacks lock in on their number one target, maybe to the detriment, but other times young quarterbacks are like, bro, I'm going through my reads. If you're not open, I'm going to the next guy. Drake Maye could lock in on someone else in a Josh McDaniels offense. Keep our eye on that. I actually think the X factor is the run game in totality.
Okay.
Could be Travion, could be Ramondre, could be both. But I think for this Patriots offense, running the ball effectively, let me say it louder for the people in the back, run the damn ball. That's the best thing you can do to help with Drake Maye and maybe to protect your offensive line if it's not as good as we both think. It could be good, too. Will Campbell could be a stud. Some of this stuff is off-season us talking. But if Will Campbell, said it,
if he's
with his arm length, he would literally be a one-of-one.
Exactly.
Which is possible, George.
If he's a stud, then he is one of the greatest left tackles of all time.
Yes.
Like pound-for-pound fighter is one of the greatest of all time.
But here's what I don't want to do, though.
Because of what he has to overcome.
I don't want to disqualify that being a possibility. I don't. When this kid talks, hey, man, I'll die for my quarterback.
Nice.
Like, I'm coming to lay. I'm not messing around. I'm laying people out. Okay,
cool.
Great. Vrabel loves him. That's why they drafted him. Let's give him a chance. Now, you and I both think educational guest style, he'll be a serviceable left tackle. Good. And then you figure it out in the offseason.
Yeah.
But I can't just go by, that's not gospel. If this kid comes in and he's a stud, it changes everything. Mm-hmm. It changes everything.
My X factor within your X factor is Ramondre Stevenson.
Okay.
And that is because he has to be that early down back.
Yeah.
He has to be the guy that can have 200 carries and not fumble. Mm-hmm. You cannot fumble in the NFL. It's not cut him down. Cut him down from what, 7 to 3? 3 is way too many. He cannot fumble. He needs to take his physical approach, nutritional approach, everything serious. He needs to help himself. And what I love about Ramondre Stevenson, when I bring up his physical and nutritional, I have to bring up his mental. He has accountability. I know I fumble too much. I know what I have to do. He's a sharp dude. He has that awareness. He's not in a way insecure of like, I'm not going to talk about fumbles because I've been fumbling. He knows he has to take care of that. The X factor within the X factor for the run game, Ramondre Stevenson has to be that first, second down back, 200 carries, because that opens up for your guy, Travion Henderson.
Yes.
That opens up for another guy in Antonio Gibson, and it gives this offense layers.
Yeah, look, man, I don't know what to tell you because you have two fumblers in this running back room, Ramondre and Antonio Gibson. And that's why I just said my X factor is a run game in total because I don't know who it's going to be.
You're like whoever emerges out of the three.
I'm still banging the drum that Travion Henderson could be the starting back here.
And that's me with pass catchers.
Yes.
X factor doesn't. To me, it's not Stefon Diggs.
Yes.
If he works out, or if he doesn't work out, okay, you miscalculated. But can he still be a chain mover and good?
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
He doesn't have to be your number one.
That's right.
Whoever ends up being the number one pass catcher, I'll live with them.
I agree.
It literally could be Jalen Polk. It could be Javon Baker. I would have to eat so much
Could be
crow,
Pop Douglas again.
and I would live with it.
And I'd live with it too.
As long as it's someone that's executing at an NFL level.
Yeah, so I agree with you with wide receivers. I got to get you on my side for running backs. You have this affinity for Ramondre Stevenson, and I think a lot of fans do. I'm not calling you out here. I think a lot of people feel that way. But I would caution you and everyone else who feels that way. This is the NFL, folks.
Yeah.
At that position, unless you have a Derrick Henry, a Saquon, you know the damn names. It is not for long. That's what it stands for. As in, you fumble, you get hurt.
Yeah.
It's not catastrophic injuries here. We're not talking Achilles, but knock on wood. But like he gets banged up.
Yeah.
If Travion comes in here, can protect that ball, is a home run hitter that everyone says on draft night, great. He's going to take his job. That's all I'm telling you and all the fans who keep waiting on Ramondre to emerge and be this great back. And I've heard Corey Dillon comparisons and all kinds of nonsense. I'm telling you right now, if this guy puts a ball on the carpet and he is not consistent, he will be benched. I would not be shocked at all if by week one, Travion Henderson's the starting running back.
If Travion Henderson's successful, then that means Ramondre Stevenson's doing well. At the Big Ten level, when he exceeded 13 touches a game,
he wasn't the bell cow.
He would get injured and he wouldn't produce.
He wasn't the bell cow.
It's just like a starting pitcher. You just need Ramondre Stevenson to go out there and give you 6 1/3, 7 innings pitched, and then Travion Henderson brings you home as a closer. When the defense is tired, beat up from Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson hits the home runs. That's all I need from him.
Yeah.
I want to end it with this one as we talk about this.
Okay.
They listed the biggest strength as coverage, literally coverage to secondary for the Patriots.
No problem.
Look, Kyle Duggar, Jabril Peppers, Marcus Epps, Craig Woodson, that's a good safety room. Carlton Davis, Christian Gonzalez, that's a great 1-2 cornerback tandem. But at cornerback, if one guy gets injured, that is a position group that I think is on the thinnest ice. That is the one that needs to be healthy throughout the season. Because when it goes after their main guys, and that's Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, Alex Austin's a good man corner.
Yeah.
Marcus Jones, not necessarily that type of dude.
No.
Craig Woodson, maybe playing nickel, but he's a rookie coming along.
Yeah.
Jalen Hawkins is all right at free safety. How healthy is Marcus Epps?
Yeah.
This is going to be a man defense in the secondary. They're going to send 4 pass rushers. They're going to wreak havoc that way. The cornerbacks have to step up.
Yeah, bro. They should have just called names for biggest strength because I agree with George about the coverage in totality. There could be some holes there. There are no holes. I agree with Savage Sports, who tweeted this. Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis are the best. That's right. The best cornerback duo in football. So for biggest strength here,
Looking at that list.
I mean, bro, I wish PFF had just said Carlton Davis and Christian Gonzalez, the end, because those two together, and don't even get me started. If this pass rush, this new look Patriots pass rush, I shouldn't even say new look because it didn't exist last season. This pass rush that this team has, if they can get home, I mean, Gonzo and Carlton Davis are going to be even better.
Yeah.
Who the hell is throwing on the Patriots if the pass rush is cooking, George? But that defensive line up front, if they're getting home and getting the quarterbacks, and you and I have talked about the schedule and some of these trash quarterbacks that this defense is going to face this season, if they're hunting and they're getting to that quarterback, Carlton Davis and Gonzo are going to eat. They're going to eat.
This is going to be a 4-2-5 defense.
Yep.
4 down defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 2 guys in the box.
Yep.
5 defensive backs. It could be a blend of a 4-2-5 and a UFO offense.
Right.
Where you have so many guys that are just in ambiguous positions in a way. What is Duggar doing? What is Jabril Peppers doing? Exactly. But when you're matching up with the Raiders, the Dolphins, the Steelers to open up, the Panthers, as you allude to, the pass rush gets to it, I put that as their biggest strength. Same thing.
Yeah.
I put down in my notes. You have Barmore, Milton Williams on the inside, Harold Landry, Keon White on the outside. We've seen a lot more Keon White in a B-gap lineup as well, too, though. And then what Braden Swinton and Joshua Farmer can do in a limit their serving size, right?
Yeah.
But give them the reps and let them develop at a rookie pace and don't put too much on their plate.
No problem.
They can still make an impact. This defensive line determines the overall success of this defense.
Yeah, listen, let's put a bow on it this way. You look at the league now, this ain't 2007 anymore, where you can have this great defense and be fine. You have to have balance. Look at the Bengals. I mean, they can put 100 points on anyone in this league. They can't stop a nosebleed, right? The Patriots have to figure out a way where your defense can be the calling card. No one has an issue with that. But your offense has to be a little bit better here, okay? Because you were awful last season. You've been awful for a couple seasons. If the offense can just be decent and the defense leads you, in the modern NFL, you'll be just fine. And you'll win games and you'll push for a playoff. But it can't be lopsided here, George, is what I'm saying. It can't be led by defense and the offense sucks again like last season. It's not going to work.
Very talented secondary.
That's right.
Deep defensive line group.
That's right.
All potential on the offensive side. I can't wait for the season. I'm so interested how it works out. So interested to see how they debut as well. We'll take another break here on Foxborough Rush. When we're back, we'll talk linebacker room. Robert Spillane, what will his role be? Can Jahlani Tavai still make an impact? And Christian Elliss or Jack Gibbons at the backup spot? We'll talk linebackers. We're talking every layer of this defense right after this break on Foxborough Rush. Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. All right, we talked offense, we talked defense. Let's talk some linebackers.
All right.
So Robert Spillane, again, a guy I was surprised the Patriots signed for the sheer fact that the Raiders let him walk out of that building in Vegas.
Strange.
Team captain there, does so much for defense, super high IQ, hard worker, like a Vrabel guy. Checks every box, really good in coverage.
He is.
And a good run defender as well.
Yep.
Modern day linebacker. Athletic, smaller size, cleans up whatever gets through the defensive line.
Yep.
Perfect fit for Terrell Williams' system. This is the guy that's starter. But now all the talk is, okay, how does the depth chart fall behind him? Because Christian Elliss, as we've seen reports come out, pushing to take on reps in a starting role. Again, I talk 4-2-5 defense. We see this, a report coming out from Mike Reese. Linebacker Christian Elliss is pushing for a starting role. Elliss was consistently lining up alongside linebacker Robert Spillane during minicamp. And from Christian Elliss himself, I'm so happy with the progress I made. Our coaches are amazing. Every day has gotten better. So now we know during minicamp, literally mandatory minicamp was 2 days of practice. Overall, through voluntary OTAs, it is passing camp. No pads being worn, literal passing camp. Christian Elliss is a good special teams contributor, can be that depth piece at linebacker.
Sure.
Jack Gibbons is a guy they signed in free agency from the Titans. And yes, there's that Titans connection. But watching the tape on Jack Gibbons, that's a guy that, to me, when it comes to run defense, I can see him as an early down linebacker. Maybe Christian Elliss is more in the passing down role. I think it's Robert Spillane's a one. And just as we talk about in a way of running back by committee type deal.
Yeah.
The second linebacker, the second guy in that box, I think it's all matchups at that point for this defense.
Look, man, when you start getting in all the weeds, I always defer to you. But I tell you one thing, Spillane's going to have a big year. And one of the reasons, and you've said it, he's a Vrabel guy. That's a big part of it. The other reason, too, are the big hog mollies up front, George. I mean, look, I had the pleasure of covering the greatest linebacker, at least in my opinion, of all time. I don't think that's a hot take. I think most people feel like it's Ray Lewis for the Ravens for his whole career, damn near. And Ray, in early 2000 greatest defense ever, like early Ray Lewis, had Tony Siragusa and Sam Adams in front of him. All he had to do was clean up everything, right? Then those guys retire, they get old, they move on. Ray was still there. He was injured for 5-6 years, it felt like. You saw the emergence of a Bart Scott. You saw other guys, right? Sure enough, they get a Haloti Ngata. They get a Terrell Suggs.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, you got big boys up front again.
And here
Ray Lewis has a second, third act in his career, gets Super Bowl, the whole deal, right? That's the key here. I'm not taking anything away from linebackers. I love linebackers. Sideline to sideline, can you tackle? Yes, check, great. Let's get you some big boys up front who can cause disruption and cause hell in front of you, and you clean everything up that moves.
Yeah.
Spillane's going to have a big year because of this defensive line, because of the scheme, and because he's a Vrabel guy.
This is a guy that's going to step up. And the injury of Jahlani Tavai to me was interesting because he could be multiple. Juwan Bentley was an inside linebacker and isn't a fit for the scheme. Jahlani Tavai is a guy that can line up on the edge. I think they knew, especially when they signed Jack Gibbons, that's it to me, along with having Christian Elliss return and retaining him. Not just his special teams contributions, their look at the inside linebacker position, it's Robert Spillane, Jack Gibbons, Christian Elliss. Jahlani Tavai is a guy that would slide and take reps as an edge rusher. And on running downs as well, a guy that can set the edge. And maybe that allows a Keon White to kick inside, play B-gap.
I like Keon White.
If a Milton Williams, Christian Barmore needs a breather as well, right? So that's what it goes all to. What I do like about this defense, they have a lot of talent. They were injured last season. Jabril Peppers was suspended. But Kyle Duggar, how healthy is he going to be?
Sure.
Jabril Peppers, can he play all 17 games and stay on the field? And keep everything quiet off the field as well. Marcus Epps, how does he bounce back from a knee injury? Because that's the free safety. If him and Jalen Hawkins can play free safety, fine. That allows Kyle Duggar and Jabril Peppers to play in the box. And again, with a 4-2-5, you could have them both on the field, and they could be that linebacker next to a Robert Spillane.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's where I understand the labels of positions.
Yeah, me too.
The only labels I'm going with, though, are your edge rushers, your interior defensive linemen, and your outside corners.
Yeah, I agree.
And your free safeties.
I would agree with that. I would also add this from a coaching schematic standpoint quickly, George. You know, I'm thinking of Vrabel's teams. Let's talk this out together because it's top of mind. I'm thinking of Vrabel's teams in Tennessee defensively. They were very no-name defense. But in terms of stars, you know, Derrick Henry was a star on that team. He's Alpha and the Omega, right? I mean, give him the ball, get the hell out of the way offensively. But defensively, they were always solid. They were always very good. They were so well coached. They were so prepared. They were buttoned up at all times.
They had Jeffrey Simmons.
But there was no big name. I'm not going to sit here and act like that's some big name star.
They had the good interior defensive line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And Vrabel always had this defense prepared.
Yeah.
And so I'm looking around. This Patriots defense right now, as constructed, has more stars than those Titans defenses did.
Yeah.
So in theory, they should be a lot better. They got stars up front. They have stars on the back end. We just talked about them last segment. And Carlton Davis and Gonzo, okay? So I think the linebackers, taking it back to this combo, should eat off all that. If you have stars up front and stars behind you, what the hell are you doing? I mean, you should make a name for your damn self based on that because of the opportunities that you're going to have.
As much as I want to rip, as much as I do rip, and justifiably so, on the GM that ran the show here from 2018 to 2023. He did add to this defense. He did draft well on this defense. Keon White, key piece, drafted him. Christian Gonzalez fell to them in the first round, drafted him. Marte Mapu, a guy I keep holding out for. Can he be something? Can he be healthy? Can he put it all together on the field as well and pick up a defense? Bill Belichick drafted him.
Good point.
Kyle Duggar.
Duggar, too.
A product out of D2 Lenore Ryan College.
Now, we need more consistency from him.
He was injured last season, but he could be really good. I love a Kyle Duggar.
I do, too.
They have the pieces on this defense.
I do, too.
They do. They have the guys under contract. The offense is all potential. The defense is all health.
Listen, we bang on Belichick every chance we get, but you make a
terrible
great point.
GM.
A terrible GM. Don't even get me started on drafting wide receivers. But when it came to defense, he knew what he was doing. And listen, like, the cupboard's not bare. It is bare as all hell offensively. But for Belichick's era, I'm saying. But in terms of the defense, you're right. I mean, there's talent here, and you have a guy in Vrabel that not only understands what Belichick was trying to build, but he knows how to enhance it in his own.
Yeah, and we'll see the impact he can have. Terrell Williams, when he'll get back with the team, hasn't completely returned to the team full-time capacity since his health care. We'll see when he steps in and really is the DC of these guys. What they do. I'm excited. Get the pads on. Let's see
go.
preseason.
I'm ready for training.
First 4 weeks, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
I need
for
training camp, bro.
We'll take one more break here on Foxborough Rush. When we're back, we got a mailbag for you guys. Answer some of your questions. We'll be right back on Foxborough Rush. Welcome back to Foxborough Rush. Let's get to the mailbag team. From Al Henderson, 4-1.
What up, Al?
4-1 on the best offseason ad. Vrabel was the best pickup. Let's go Patriots.
He's not wrong. Don't you dare give me another damn name. That was the pickup.
Ben Johnson?
What about him?
Ben Johnson could have been a good pickup.
Well, Ben Johnson would have been a...
When you have one guy for the job, it's Josh McDaniels. He was the best offensive coordinator candidate out there. Perfect for this offense.
Ben Johnson, I don't know if good pickups are right, because we both wanted him. Ben Johnson would have brought you into the new era of the NFL. Right? He would have changed everything. And by the way, I think Vrabel now gets it. He talked about that, right? Like, he's got to kind of change some things too. Vrabel, I'm talking about. I think he's better prepared for this job. He's obviously uniquely qualified to coach the Patriots, given his history here. But Ben Johnson, I think the rebuild would have taken longer, actually, because Ben Johnson would have came in and scrapped a lot of things and built around Drake May, no problem there, but it would have just taken longer to get there. I think with Vrabel, it's a rebuild on the fly. I'm looking forward, and we've talked about this on Foxborough Rush. I actually think this team will be way more improved this year. And I think the rebuild's going to be quicker because Vrabel's going to keep your defense in tow and add to it, which he did, check. Schematically, defensively, you're going to be okay. You don't know that with Ben Johnson, okay? And, I mean, listen, offensively, he's not going to try and reinvent the wheel, which Ben Johnson would have. Not saying he wouldn't have been built a great wheel. But you got to build the wheel. I don't think Vrabel's doing that. I think Vrabel's like, listen, like, we got this young quarterback. Let's try and, on the fly, patch up this offensive line, get him a weapon and Diggs, and see what happens. So, look, I hear you on Ben Johnson. That's the guy we wanted. But it's Vrabel. We're both cool with it. And I do think that was the best offseason move.
What makes Vrabel a great pickup is the staff he put around him. Because Ben Johnson could not have put together a staff with this much experience and this much depth.
That's right.
Doug Marrone, Todd Downing, Thomas Brown, Josh McDaniels, Terrell Williams, and the list goes on and on. That's where I'll give him the nod.
That's right.
Best season pickup, though, off-season pickup, I'm still going to go Josh McDaniels. Because his offense needed so many upgrades.
No problem.
They went right with the offensive coordinator. You had to get a guy that could scheme it, teach a young quarterback, and develop him. And I think that's the most vital part of it all. But it's also key. You didn't make Josh McDaniels a head coach. You kept him as
why you keep doing that?
He's not a head coach.
He's going to be a head coach soon. Give it 3 years. I'm telling you.
I just got motion sickness.
He's going to be a head coach.
What day is it?
Drake May, before McDaniels takes a head coaching job, Drake May is going to be top 15, top 10 in this league.
Top 10.
And there'll be some organization out there that says, you know what?
Some dumb organization.
I can't say that. I can't say that.
Denver,
I can't say
Las
that.
Vegas.
I can't deny that.
And did the same.
I can't deny that.
Multiple years between.
But he was young. You have some seasoning in between.
He got fired from Vegas 2 years ago.
I'm just saying. There's some seasoning in between. You
Yeah.
get Drake May to where he needs to be.
Yeah.
Someone will hire him. We disagree on that. I think Josh McDaniels is going to be a head coach before you know it. It might be college even. Don't sleep on college. If I'm Josh McDaniels and I get a big name, what? What's wrong with that? Some big name college?
He cannot lead a room. He cannot lead an entire
lead
team.
college kids?
No.
Bro, you are hating on bro. After saying he's the best off-season acquisition as a coordinator.
Yes. Players smoked cigars when he got fired. They smoked cigars. There's a hey, man, take the high road, They smoked cigars.
But let me go back to college for a second.
Okay.
Remember, this ain't the college we grew up on, bruh. It's about money, NIL, and can you get me to the league?
Yeah.
Depending on what school would hire him, NIL check, and he can get you the league. I'm just saying.
No, I got it. Man, I felt like I got salmonella all over again hearing you say that. Monda Christie on the Patriots trading for a player currently holding out.
Yeah.
It's already good. We don't need nobody.
Okay,
What?
sure.
Huh?
It's all the combos about Terry McLaurin and Kyle Pitts. I get it. It's all the quote is what's in him. It's all good. We don't need anyone. Okay.
You're all good?
Okay.
Careful what you ask for.
Okay.
You have a wide receiver that says, I don't talk about my personal life with people I don't know personally.
Right.
And then posts pink-colored brownies on his Instagram story because of the pink-colored stuff in the bag, a.k.a. the alleged Tusi on the boat. But, just loves to be the smartest guy in the room.
Quote, it's already good. We don't need nobody. You got it.
All right.
You got that. You got that, Monda Christie.
Because they're probably not going to add anybody. They're probably not going to add a Terry McLaurin. I don't believe the Commanders would let him leave.
They'd be smart not
to.
to.
So let's remember this then. Hey, we're all good. We don't need a Terry McLaurin. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
Paul in Las Vegas.
What up, Paul?
What a handle. I like it. It's like getting a call. On trading for Terry McLaurin versus developing wide receivers. So what you're saying is let's mortgage the future for McLaurin because you have no confidence in the Patriots rookie and second-year receivers. Let's not coach them up so they can develop into good players. What you're saying is we have no confidence in the Patriots scouting and coaching because we have no patience.
Bro.
First sentence.
Come on, Paul.
Mortgage the future.
What? How?
For Terry McLaurin. What,
How?
Did I say a first?
No.
Did I say multiple day two picks?
You said third.
And multiple receivers.
And one of these trash receivers.
Who are busts.
Maybe a fourth. And both of us made the exception of, okay, maybe you could send the Commanders a second-round pick. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
But no one's mortgaging the future. And by the way, what's the problem? We're talking about Terry McLaurin here. We're talking about a guy who put up numbers with absolutely less in Washington for a long time.
6 straight 1,000-yard seasons.
What are we doing?
One of the best run-blocking receivers, a great downfield receiver outside of the numbers where Drake May thrives.
It's not mortgaging the future. And by the way, even if, let's just, for the sake of this conversation, Paul in Vegas, say that they traded for Terry and we all agree they gave up too much. It would not be mortgaging the future. But let's say it's a first-rounder for the sake of combo. We would come on here and say, boy, you gave up a little much for Terry McLaurin, and you got to pay him. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
But now you have Terry, Stefon Diggs. We would sort of spin it forward of like, okay, now you're cooking with gas. You got something offensively on the outside. Mm-hmm. No one, even if you gave up a first rounder, would say, oh, you just mortgaged the future for this guy? Mortgage the future is like multiple ones, Stefon Diggs. It would be nuts. No one's going to do that for Terry McLaurin. And I agree with George that ultimately I think this is a moot point. I actually think a more realistic target is Kyle Pitts. And no one is giving up the mortgage in the future for Kyle Pitts. But I think Kyle Pitts can be had easier.
Yeah.
And more realistically than a Terry McLaurin. That's just my opinion.
Depends how the Falcons value him. Depends how they view him.
Well, they're already showing you.
Right? I would want Terry McLaurin over Kyle Pitts.
I would too.
No doubt about it.
But I'm saying
older,
Washington may
less
not.
explosive, lower ceiling, but that floor is so high. No, exactly to that point. Atlanta, more likely to part with Kyle Pitts and be like, we're good.
Yes.
Compared to Washington in their win-now window with the quarterback under cost control and Terry McLaurin.
That's right.
But that's a guy, 30 years old. So he is hitting that threat. Okay.
He's got
30
miles.
years old. That's when you hit that clip as a receiver.
Yeah, he's got miles.
He'd be a good, productive player for the next 3 to 4 years.
That's right.
That's what you would hope to get in the second or third round. a good, productive player over the course of the 4 years, and then you want to give a second contract to. You likely wouldn't get to that second contract with Terry McLaurin.
That's right.
But guess what? Your window is now as well. With Drake Maye being cost control the next 4 seasons.
That's right.
And then that extension kicks in. That coincides with a window where you could pay a Terry McLaurin. And guess what? A second-round pick you'd give up in this upcoming draft would not matter when you needed a second-round pick in a draft 3-4 years from now when Drake May's doing well.
You're preaching, dog. Go on. What's next? I know we got another one.
Benny Pacheco, 25. Christian Gonzalez is better than Jalen Johnson and Sauce Gardner, LOL.
I mean, that's a hot take, but I tell you what, you could be right. What's missing is he has to do it and stay healthy for a little bit more of a sample size.
Jalen Johnson's fantastic. Sauce Gardner is really good. They both play.
They're available always.
All the time.
They're healthy, always.
Christian Gonzalez is awesome as well. I'm excited to see him in the system. A lot more man coverage.
Yeah.
A lot more tagging and going with the best receiver. Because what were the issues that we saw? Continually, Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua going inside, getting matched up off of a Christian Gonzalez and eating up this Patriots defense. Christian Gonzalez, fly paper cornerback. That's going to be a big test for him. Been good in man, better in zone. How is he going to do as the guy? Yeah,
I mean, I did a quick search on Jalen Johnson and Sauce Gardner in terms of games played in their career. Both available, only missed a handful of games. So, Gonzo, you just have to give us what you gave us last season. For another season or two, you are. He could be better. He could be better.
Shoulder injury, something that, it's not like a soft
I'm just saying,
tissue.
do it longer, right?
Yeah, I agree. Hey, that'll wrap it up for Foxborough Rush. George Blechy, Travis Thomas. Make sure to catch new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 to 2 p.m. right here on Nesson Nation, or watch us on YouTube as well. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, subscribe to Nesson's YouTube page, leave a comment. That's how we get you guys on the mailbag.
Come on.
And leave a voicemail too, 617-790-0928. That'll wrap it up for Foxborough Rush. We'll see you guys same time, same place on Wednesday.